friends, welcome back to Muendamberi Academy. Today we are going to have a revision on A-level biology specimen paper 3. So we are going to revise the essay questions from number 2. So we want to cover from part A, part B, up to part C. So as you saw in our first video, we covered the first question, which was number 1 from part A up to part C. So in this video, in this revision, we are going to have the solutions for number 2. So let's dive into the solutions for this question. Right, so this is our revision questions. So it's ZIMSEC A-level biology revision paper 3, as I said. So we have got the this question number 2 with part A, part B, and part C. So we have to answer this question correctly in such a way that we collect all the marks mentioned so that we end up passing our exams. Right. So for the first question, it's saying outline the roles of water in living organisms. So as you know that water is vital, is very important in living organisms. So as biology students, you have to know the main roles of water in each and every living organism. But when we say living organism, think about all the kingdoms. We have got the animals, we have got the plants, we have got the microscopic organisms. So water has different roles in those types of organisms. So the first one, you know it. So water serves as a reagent. So works as a reagent, right, in metabolic reactions. Okay, so I have mentioned one of the roles of water in living organisms, which is a reagent in metabolic reactions. For example, I can give a reference to photosynthesis or respiration. Okay, so it's a function of water in living organisms. We can also talk of indigestion. So it helps in digestion of food in animals. Okay, so water is very important in animals, as we know that for us to digest the food we take in, we need water so that it will be very easy. So I will wrap these rows, then I will add other solutions on this part, which is part A. So as you saw, I have mentioned the 2 rows, but the question is going to award you with 8 marks. So you have to put more rows so that you get all the marks. So we can also talk of other functions like, if we check in some primitive animals, like we have got the bryophytes. So water facilitates fertilization processes. In bryophytes. Okay. So what is the role of water in the fertilization process? So water enables the sperm cells produced in these type of organisms to swim towards the towards the female sex cells. So that's the role of water in these organisms. So we can also talk of temperature regulation in our bodies. As you know that when it is hot, we need water to cool our body cells. So temperature regulation. Temperature regulation. Okay. Then I will have these functions or roles of water. Then I will add other solutions so that we will get all the marks. Okay, so the other function, if you see in the less developed organisms without transport systems, okay, like let's say consider animals like earthworms, okay, they don't have that blood. We know in our bodies we have got blood, it carries some food molecules, nutrients, and some different minerals. So what they do, those animals, they make use of water to allow substance to be transported from one part to another. So the other function, as I said, is it serves as a transport media. It serves as a transport media in some organisms. Let's say some organisms. Okay. So, okay, I have pointed out another role of water in living organisms. I said it serves as a transport media in some organisms for them to transport various substances around their bodies. Then the other function in those less developed animals like earthworms, as I said, we see that water contributes to the type of skeleton we call the hydrostatic uh, exoskeleton. Okay, it works as a hydrostatic skeleton in some organisms. Here you can give an example of an earthworm. So we know that skeletons are very important for support, okay, for an organism to move, okay, being supported by the skeleton. So it's very important for an organism to have that skeleton. So in this case, because earthworms, they don't have those bones, so they make use of water to gain a structure that serves like a skeleton. So we call that one a hydrostatic skeleton. So let's also mention other roles of water in living organisms so that we'll get all the marks. Right, so I have wrote about six, yeah, if you were following, I have wrote about six roles of water in living organisms. So, okay, in many organisms, like generally in animals, we see that water contributes to the fluid or the lipid part of blood. So, contributes to the formation of blood. Okay. Okay. Then the other function for water is that in plant cells, as you see, even in the animal cells, they give the shape of that organism or that cell a specific shape, right? Because of water. So we are saying that water provides cells shape and maintain them. So for cells to take their original shapes is because of water inside them. So those were the roles of living organisms for part A. So we are going to answer part B, then part C. Alright, so we are now moving on to part B. So the part B is saying that explain the importance of mitosis in living organisms. So basically we have got the 5 main importance of mitosis. So by giving some examples and explain them, you can get all the 6 marks. Okay. So the first one, we can say that mitosis is, or I can say, because as an importance, I can say that is used for asexual reproduction. Okay, so it is used for asexual reproduction. So for asexual reproduction, we mean that reproduction process whereby non-sex cells are involved. So there are no gametes, but organisms are produced, like the use of cuttings, okay, bulbs, and so on. Then the other importance is that it maintains, or let's use this word, it promotes mitosis, it promotes genetic stability by maintaining same number of chromosomes. It promotes genetic stability by maintaining same number of chromosomes. So what I'm saying is that through mitosis, the number of chromosomes is maintained, like from generation to another generation. So for parents to pass their genes from their generation to their from them to offsprings, the number of chromosomes is maintained. So by the way, we maintain the genetic stability. So we want to write other importance of mitosis in living organisms. Okay, so mitosis, as we see from other importance, that it maintains the number of chromosomes, genetic stability. It also leads to growth. It leads to growth of organs and tissues. Okay. So this happens because for any organ to grow, it must consist of same or identical cells. So by mitosis, we produce daughter cells which are identical to each other. So by the way, organs can grow big and big. Okay. So another importance of mitosis is that mitosis, I mentioned the aspect of growth, genetic stability. Okay, it helps organisms to repair damaged tissues. Damaged tissues and cells. Okay, so because when we replace something which was damaged, we have to replace with something which is identical to the damaged one. So because of mitosis, as the cell divides, identical daughter cells are produced. So it is possible to replace the damaged ones with the daughter cells produced by mitosis. Then the other function, so the importance of mitosis is that uh, in some organisms like frogs, yeah, lizards, yeah, it also happens, starfish, organisms like that, they are capable of regenerating some organs. So mitosis, it helps some organisms to regenerate. This is different from repair. To regenerate organs. Okay. To regenerate organs. So that's it on part B. We want to move on to the last part, which is part C. Yeah. Explain how meiosis can result in genetic variation. This topic I like it so much. Yeah. So part C is saying explain how meiosis can result in genetic variation 6 months. So this is very easy. What you need to do is to reflect your mind to meiosis. So meiosis basically for us for the cells, sorry, for the cells to be genetically different is because of meiosis 1. Meiosis 2, it's okay, so you have to forget about that. Meiosis 1 is responsible for difference in daughter cells. So here, I will tell how meiosis results in genetic variation. So I will be focused on meiosis 1. So at prophase 1, you have to mention the stages. At prophase 1, due to okay, crossing over on homologous chromosomes. Genes are swapped. Okay, so there will be combination of genes which are formed at prophase 1. Sorry, prophase 1. So there is crossing over. The chromosomes, they cross each other. Then we also talk of, so ZIMSEC will mark you considering the stage Then what happens on which type of chromosomes, which are homologous chromosomes. Okay, so at preface 1, different or a number of chiasmata may be formed. Okay, causing variations in genotypes. Okay, so the chiasmata, these are points where crossing over take place. So chromosomes can cross at a different number of points. Okay, so this all brings us to these variations, which we call genetic variation. Then we also talk of metaphase 1. So I will write about metaphase 1. It also contributes to genetic variation. So at metaphase 1, what happens is independent assortment. Okay, so at metaphase 1, there is independent of assortment. So this means that chromosomes, let me use this term, homologous chromosomes, line up at the equator randomly. Okay, so at metaphase 1, there is independent of assortment, whereby homologous chromosomes line up at the equator randomly. So this random arrangement of the chromosomes at the equator of the cell causes different number of combinations of genes. So these combinations of genes will cause the daughter cells to differ in their genotypes. So by the way, it brings us to a genetic variation. So I'll also mention what happens after meiosis. It will be a bonus mark to add that point. Okay, so random fertilization. After meiosis. Okay, so as I said that after meiosis, we form the daughter cells, which are 4. These daughter cells, they are genetically different. So there will be random fertilization of meiosis. We know that only one gamete is fertilized by the sperm. So we don't know which cell or which gamete will be fertilized by a sperm. So it means it's just random. So because it's random, it brings us to genetic variation. So that's the last point I wanted to add on that. So If you have found this video helpful to you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so that you will see more videos which are coming, because we have got part 3, part 4, and part 5 of the videos of this kind. Thank you so much.